to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
Tracy, will you do roll call, please?
Scholl.
Here.
DeCook.
Here.
McIntyre. McIntyre.
Here.
Okay. Any agenda?
Here.
Thank you.
Any agenda deletions or corrections? I have two small ones. Consent agenda, item T, approved hire Jacob Gardner, road maintenance, Tech 1, secondary roads, effective 5/19/20. It is 5/19/20. I think on the original agenda it might have been 5/5/20, but it is in fact 5/19/20. So if you're looking at an original agenda, that has been corrected. And then there was simply a Scribner's error on number 8. After the project number -8191, it's actually 8I91. So 8I91 instead of 8191. But other than those two things, I have nothing else. And with that, let me take a big breath and read the consent agenda, because it is a big one. We have claims in the amount of $2,997,335.57, and I did not see any fringes on for today. Of that 2.9, it looks like 1.3 was the bond. There was a capital project regarding the courthouse for $800,000, and the difference is generally salaries. But as an explanation. B, minutes to approve, special meeting 4/30/20, regular meeting 5/5/20. C, approve hire Bradley Ergenberger, roads maintenance, Tech 1, secondary roads, effective 5/19/20. D, approve removal from payroll Sarah Peterson, iSmile coordinator, health services, effective 5/1/20. E, approve Jane Summers, temporary election clerk, auditor's office, effective 5/4/20. F, approve hire Dawn Jackson, meal site cook, nutrition, effective 5/12/20. G, approve hire Becky Agassi, iSmile coordinator, health services, effective June 1/20. H, approve removal from payroll for Matthew Dutcher, mechanic, secondary roads, effective June 4, 2020. I, approve hire Cameron Glover, road maintenance, Tech 1, secondary roads, effective 6/1/20. J, approve removal from payroll for Robert Ritchie, bridge and culvert foreman, secondary roads, effective 6/5/20. K, approve job classification change for Michael Hagan, from equipment operator 2 to bridge and culvert foreman, effective 6/1/20. L, approve Class C native wine liquor license for Two Saints Winery. M, approve Class C liquor license LC commercial for Red Acre Barn LLC. N, approve Iowa retail permit for retail of cigarette/tobacco/nicotine vapor for Come and Go number 43, New Virginia, Iowa. O, approve Class E liquor license for Come and Go. I shouldn't have looked at that. Come and Go 43. Okay, set. So I read O, so we're on P. Set public hearing date for 6/2/20 at 9:35 regarding a rezoning application submitted by TD&K Development LLC, Tim and Diane Williams. Q, set public hearing for 6/2/20 at 9:40 a.m. regarding sale of parcels number 2900270489 and 2900270629 to Donald L. Roush Estate. R, set public hearing for June 2, 2020 at 9:45 a.m. regarding the sale of parcel AK to Lynn Grove Methodist Church. S, approve hire Piper Davidson, temporary election clerk, auditor's office, effective 5/4/2020, and T, approve hire Jacob Gardner, road maintenance tech 1, secondary roads, effective 5/19/2020.
A real quick clarification, N was for tobacco at Come and Go and O was for liquor.
Did I not read out? Oh,
I think you did, you
Okay.
started to, but then I think you thought you'd already.
Since they were on there twice.
I gotcha. O is approve Class E liquor license, LE for Come and Go, number 43, New Virginia, Iowa.
Thank you.
You bet.
I would move the consent agenda.
Second. Any
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, Tracy.
Can you guys not hear me?
I think it's coming a little bit delayed.
What is going on?
I don't know. I mean, there was just like kind of an awkward long pause, so I
Okay,
seconded
that's
it,
weird.
but you're good.
So who's second, you or her?
She can second this time.
All right, McIntyre?
Aye.
Scholl?
Aye.
DeCook?
Aye. Action item number 2, public hearing regarding FY 2019-2020 budget amendment with possible action.
Okay, before the board and I included
Motion
the,
to go into public hearing.
Motion to go into a public hearing.
Okay, second.
Tracy?
McIntyre? Scholl?
Aye.
DeCook?
Aye. Okay, we're now in a public hearing. Megan, if you present this one.
yep. Before you, you have amendments for our fiscal year 20 budget. And this amendment includes for the sheriff's department, as well as the medical examiner and juvenile probation, and the auditor's office. So when we're looking at the service areas, SA1, that law enforcement and judicial, it's $114,000 amendment. And that is offset by, we received $84,177 as a settlement on inmate claim for medical. So we do have that revenue coming in, and then I'm offsetting the sheriff's budget within the inmate care. And we also have on here the auditor's office, which would be your service area 8, for $8,700. That was the cost of the county special election. I included with your documentation the budget reports, since we were going into the amendment to just go over those budget reports where we're sitting at. We do have another amendment next Tuesday, and that was to make up for the grant that the board agreed to go forward with the Des Moines Partnership. We did not have that readily available, so I did put in another amendment for next Tuesday. Will be the hearing on that to amend for that. When we look at the revenues for the county as of the end of April, we've got, for the most part, we're on track. We've known that the city election income was less than what was budgeted. Our interest income has been less than anticipated. That fine fee threshold for the attorney's office is offset in the clerk of court because of that change in that threshold. The LAE payments are received quarterly from DHS, and so they're not showing that last payment. DCAT, our reimbursements are proportional to expenses, and then May 1 is when our second issuance for the bond issuance on the Justice Center. So that brings that revenue back into line. So those are the items in our revenue at this point. I anticipate any change, for the most part, revenue differences because of closures, sales tax, those types of things, I think we'll see in the next fiscal year. I don't know that we'll see the impact directly so much this year. When we look at expenditures, for the most part, all of our budgets are within that anticipated 83%. Again, that inmate care for the sheriff's office, he's running at about 85%, but we're doing in the amendment the $84,000 to his budget. If we look at the medical examiner, we have a $10,000 amendment that should bring that back in line. Both the library and the historical society are 100% expensed for the year, so there'll be no more expenses there. And then that juvenile probation is the last budget that's showing over the 83%. And we do have a $20,000 amendment against that one. the fund balances, even with some of the differences in revenue, I don't anticipate all of the expenses in every department will be expended, so I still anticipate the general fund will be at around 30% usable fund balance to expense ratio at the end of the fiscal year. So those are the items that are within your, the budget amendment that I would ask approval for. And this is a public hearing. You want to tell them that if this is their time to speak?
This is the public's time to speak. Anyone has thoughts or recommendations for the board on our budget amendment, it is open to the public. We'd ask for you to state your name. You'd have 3 or 4 minutes, or if you need to go over, that's fine as well. And address, please.
And if you'd like to speak, you can type in the chat or wave at me and I can see.
I would move we go to regular session, back to regular session.
I'll second that. Tracy?
McIntyre,
Second.
Scholl,
Aye.
DeCook,
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're back in our regular board session. Do we have a motion on the budget amendment?
So moved.
And I'll second it.
Second.
Tracy?
McIntyre, Scholl,
Aye.
DeCook,
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, the end result is still the same. We're getting there. All right, seeing that it passed 3-0. All right, next action item is number 3. Consider lifting COVID-19 travel policy with possible action.
The Board of Supervisors on April 3rd adopted a Warren County Infectious Disease Action Plan for COVID-19 pandemic. And included in that was a travel, some requirements that we were asking of our employees, and restricting those travel based on the recommendations at that time. The new guidelines from the CDC is that COVID-19 virus is circulating across the United States. While there was no longer a recommendation to self-isolate for 14 days after returning home from travel outside of Iowa and within the United States, as long as the traveler remains well and has not been identified as close contact of an ill individual, travelers should continue to clean your hands often, wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after you have been in a public place or after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. If soap and water are not readily available, use a hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Cover all surfaces of your hands and rub your hands together until they feel dry. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid close contact with others. Keep 6 feet of physical distance from others. Avoiding close contact is especially important if you are at high risk for getting very sick from COVID-19. Wear a cloth face covering in public. Cover coughs and sneezes. The Centers for Disease Control continues to recommend that persons returning from international travel stay home for 14 days after they return. So what I asked the board today is if they would consider approving lifting the travel restriction section of the Warren County Infectious Disease Action Plan for COVID-19 pandemic that was approved on April 3rd, 2020, and follow CDC guidelines for travel henceforth.
I would move.
I make a motion to lift the travel ban for our employees.
Second.
Any discussion? Yeah, I think it's a logical progression, so, Tracy?
McIntyre, Scholl,
Aye.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye. All right.
Thank you.
Next up, action item number 4. Consider proposed pricing agreement with ADP LLC with possible action.
Our contract with our payroll processor ADP, we've in the past, we've done a 2-year contract with them. Before you is also a 2-year contract. The pricing on this, they did come down, we do pay by employee, and the price per employee came down 5.5%, which equates to just under $2,000 for the estimate based on the number of employees at this time. This is an additional 2-year contract, and that pricing for the payroll and HR is right at $30,000, which is what we have budgeted.
I would move the proposed pricing agreement with ADP LLC
And authorize chair to sign.
and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? I have one quick comment. It's certainly not a lot of money in the scheme of things. It's $2,000 or approximately $2,000, but sincere hat tip to Megan for that. I mean, we went down in the right direction, and she was instrumental in negotiating the cost down, and so 5% less than what we were paying is always a good thing. Anytime government spends less on something, that seems like it's a rarity, but nice job. So,
Thank you.
McIntyre? Scholl?
Aye.
Aye.
DeCook?
aye. 3-0 again. All right, number 5. Consider electrical service extensions for 911 communications project with possible action.
These are invoices that I received. This is for expanding the electrical to 2 of the sites for the 911 communication project. So 5A is going to be electrical service extension with Mid-American Energy for the 911 communication project located at 10625 30th Avenue in Martinsdale. And the amount that Mid-American is requesting is $3,736.82. And I would ask that you authorize the payment thereof. They are requiring payment before they do service. So they've quoted us, this is their quote to do it, and they are requiring that payment before they run it. The second item is item 5B. This is the electrical service extension for the with Clark Electric Cooperative for the 911 communication project located at 23255 70th Avenue in New Virginia in the amount of $2,037, and then authorize the payment thereof so that we can issue that payment and get moving with that electrical extension.
I move that we, approve the 911 communications project with Mid-American Energy for $3736.82 and Clark Electric Cooperative for $2,037 and authorize payment thereof.
There's 2 different amounts.
Didn't I read them both?
Second.
Did you get it?
I think I read them both.
Okay. Discussion? Tracy?
McIntyre? Scholl?
Aye.
DeCook?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And Tracy, you got both of them.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to item number 6, consider change order for shelter employees, CCD 1, Warren County Justice Center with possible action. I am presenting this one. It is change orders to Vanderpool Construction, Core Structural Services, DDVI Inc., and DeVries Electric. And what this is the communications aspect of the courthouse and Justice Center is underground. Prior to rebid, it was identified that we needed a storm shelter, but the actual details is directed by the code, which it looks like it's Iowa Administrative Code IAC 301-313 parens, replaces the requirements for storm shelters, and so they were just more detailed than what we had planned for. The design and construction needs to be in accordance with the code, or it's not going to pass code. And so we really don't have a whole lot of option at this point. but to go forward with it. And so there is a change order to make basically our tornado shelter, where our dispatch will be. It's gonna be basically Fort Knox. And if you, and it pains me that it's not, they don't give it away, but I think it's probably good to about an F-15 tornado. That's where you wanna be if one comes. So, it's a code requirement, and we really just don't have a lot of options at this point. So this looks like total amount for the change order is in the, I don't have it right up, is it 150?
Can I read them individually?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, item A would be Vanderpool Construction, Inc. in the amount of $10,370. Item B would be Core Structural Services in the amount of $34,984.41. Item C is DDVI, Inc. in the amount of $68,773.86. And item D is DeVries Electrical, Inc. in the amount of $41,758.10.
Okay. And that approximates 100.
$156,000. There's one additional, change order to come. The contractor just doesn't have the documents ready yet.
It looks like when it's all said and done, I've got a revised total for CCD one, which should be, for my estimation, hopefully the largest and final change order that we're gonna have on this, but it looks like it's 222. So there's a difference between International Building Code and what the Iowa Code requires. And with that, do I have a motion to approve CCD number 1?
I move that, the change orders for shelter in place, CCD number 1, Warren County Justice Center, Vanderpool, $10,370, Core Structural Services, $34,984.41, DDVI, $68,773.86, and DeVries Electric, $41,758.10.
I'll second it. Is there a discussion?
Second.
Oops. Okay, Crystal can second it. Is there a discussion? Seeing none, I will only add, there is the other part of that. We got 156 here. When the dust settles on it, it's really 222. So at some future point, our architect and engineer will bring the final aspect of that, and we'll get it up to code compliance, and it should pass code. So with that, we've got a motion and a second. Tracy?
McIntyre. Schultz.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Number 7, consider entrance variance application from Matthew and Natalie Vassy with possible action.
Are they on the line by chance? Or?
Let's have a look. I have a Natalie.
Natalie, can you hear us?
Natalie, is this Natalie Vacy? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, they are on the line.
Okay, so we did meet them out there, and
We're under,
okay.
we're under Leslie Herman as well.
Oh, okay.
So based on their application, they're at 465 feet. We're okay with that as long as they stay at that minimum or push it as far to the 500-foot mark as they can. So as they get to the 500-foot mark, as they kind of stated, they do have some higher costs with removing a bank and some utilities and things. So if you want to apply that as an undue hardship, they can kind of get closer to that 465 feet and have a lot less cost. It's just the topography of the land isn't the best for them with their lot, so we're okay with the 465. We just want to bring it before you guys since you have the final say on that.
Is there any discussion? And is it Vassy or Vacy? Natalie? Vasey, okay. Well, was the summary from our engineer pretty accurate? Was that a correct summary?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion?
I would move the entrance variance application from Matthew and Natalie Vasey, for 465 feet.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Tracy?
McIntyre? Scholl?
Aye.
DeCook?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you. Number 8, consider agreement with IDOT for project number TAPUC091 131-8I91 and authorize board chair to sign with possible action.
I'll start off. If you remember from the last meeting, we have about 4 agenda items associated with this one. You met those requirements, so this is the actual federal aid agreement for the Safe Routes to School project in Greenfield Plaza. It's an 80-20 split, just spells that out and how we get reimbursed for the funding. So with that, if there's any further questions.
Is this complete the aspect of the funding requirement, or is there more to go?
There's always more to go when it's federal dollars, but
And when do we anticipate starting that project?
anytime next calendar year is our best guess. I think at the earliest it would let in November, December time period, so they get that window to kind of work it in next calendar year.
Perfect. Okay.
I would move the agreement with the Iowa DOT for project number TAPUC
Second.
091-131 8I91 and authorize board chair to sign.
All right, we got a motion. We have a second. Dawn. Excuse me. Tracy. Dawn's just over there. I just looked at her first.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Scholl?
Aye.
DeCook?
Aye. All right, number 9, consider appointments to the following boards or commissions. A, historical commission. Is Lindsay presenting this one, or are you doing this one, Megan?
Well, I don't know much about it, I have to tell you. Let me get Lindsay. Lindsay, are you on the line?
I am.
Did you receive these applications for, looks like Judy Bruce Russell and Raymond Skip Phillips, to be on the historical, Warren County Historical Preservation Commission?
I had Connie email them to me today so I could look at them.
Okay, and you have 2 openings on that board?
Yes, we needed to fill a position with a male and then either a male or a female for the other openings. So yes, and I think both of those would be good applicants for the positions.
Thank you.
I would move that Skip Phillips and Judy Russell be appointed to the Historical Commission. Pardon?
Historic Preservation
Second.
Commission.
Okay. It says Historical Commission.
Okay. We have a motion for the Historical Preservation Commission and a second. Tracy.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Scholl?
Aye.
DeCook?
Aye. All right, congratulations, Skip and Judy. Number 10, discussion of proposed Mid-Iowa Development Fund, Inc. support for administration costs. And I think this one is Supervisor McIntyre. Are you presenting this one?
Yes, I hope that you can hear me fine. In your packet is an explanation of the Mid-Iowa Development Fund as well as what they're asking, and this is for administrative costs. I also sent an email that I received from the director to kind of explain what has happened over the years. There have been administrative costs that have added up And in order to be able to service more and to have the 500,000 that is being offered by the federal government to help businesses without a county 25% match, they are asking for the administrative costs to be brought up to date. So are there any questions about this?
Is there a dollar amount specifically that they're asking for?
Yes, the total is between 18 and 19,000, and they are asking for each county who participates in this fund, which it's 7 counties. However, Warren County is one of 5 that has actually been participating and showing up to meetings. So the final number is going to be lower than that, but we're not quite sure how many counties are going to be able to contribute.
So it's based on however many other counties are participating in it as well, to sort of spread
Yes.
the pot of $18,000?
Yes. Linda, the director, apologizes. She can't be here tonight. She had some surgery earlier today. In talking to a Polk County supervisor who sits on this board, he indicated that they usually pay for any outside cost with money from the casino. Is that correct? Anyways, he was telling me the funding source, and he's not, with it closed, of course, that's not going to be there. And then they pay the Veterans Memorial with that. So he feels that their revenues are going to be way down. So he's not sure. He said that he would talk to his board and ask. They're just asking for a commitment at this point. The amount is not absolutely necessary, but some sort of monetary help in paying this administrative cost down. It looks like the other counties may be able to, but we were going to meet tomorrow morning to discuss whether the other counties and what their commitment level is going to be to paying this down.
Okay, thank you. Just one of 3, but here's my take would be I'd like to assist if possible, but I'd also like to know sort of what that parameter looks like and which other counties are contributing and what we're getting for that contribution. And it looks to me like with the casinos closed and that revenue shortfall, I don't exactly want to extend ourselves where I'm not positive what that is yet, but is there a time deadline, Supervisor McIntyre, where they're really looking to actually have the dollars come in?
I believe there is. I'm not sure what the requirement is on those federal dollars that are opened up to the Mid-Iowa Development Fund. But like I said, our meeting is tomorrow to express our commitment level in wanting to help out.
I guess my suggestion would be we put it on the June 2nd agenda, because this doesn't say anything about approving this is just a discussion.
Right.
Yeah, this is discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have some more information and so that we know what we're getting, and I do like and appreciate 75-25 federal dollar matches, assuming that we're getting some bang for our buck. That certainly has some appeal from my point of view. I mean, just like the Plaza Sidewalk project that our engineer talked about, that was an 80-20. Things certainly move a lot faster when the feds are helping. So yeah, is that okay with you, Crystal, if we put it on the June 2nd agenda and come back with some more information on exactly what they're looking for and maybe put pen to paper on what sort of number they'd like to see from Warren County?
Sure. I will definitely indicate tomorrow that we have an interest in helping, but that interest is going to be based on actual numbers. And may I also add that there is $500,000 being offered by the federal government without a match from the counties. Normally, we would match 25%. So just letting you know that that's why they want the administrative costs to be paid off.
Got it. And that total number, or that total delta is 18,000, spread out between 5 or 6 counties, or how many counties are included in like a region?
It's a 7-county, and it's Polk, Dallas, Warren, Story, Jasper, Boone, and Marion.
Okay.
But it's been Boone. I think it's either Boone or Jasper, but definitely Marion has not been participating. So I can't speak for those counties, but I think that based on Linda's numbers, assuming that the other 2 counties would not participate, it would be around the 3,000 to 5,000 contribution from Warren County.
Understood. Okay. Yeah, I think you can let them know that we're interested, and when they have a hard ask and a number, then let's talk about it. We'll put it on the June 2nd agenda, if that's fine with you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you bet. Okay, number 11. Discussion of New Virginia meal site with possible action. Looks like Jodine.
Where are you hanging out, Jodine? I'll put the camera on.
Do you want me to read it, or do you want to? I would like you to, but I will.
You would like me to?
Yeah, but I will. I couldn't get this out before tonight. I apologize. So this is just an explanation a little bit. And Crystal, I emailed this to you just a few minutes ago, so you have it somewhere. This is an explanation of why I believe the New Virginia meal site should be closed. In February of 2020, I ran a simple cost analysis of the meals for the New Virginia meal site. It was based on the wages, fringe benefits of staff, cost of groceries and supplies, and rent for the site, as well as the small amount of mileage paid out. The costs were approximately $39.82, and there were about 250 meals served, so it made the cost of a congregate or home delivered meal at that site more than $15 a meal. When I did the same thing for the other sites, the other 4 sites, it came out to about $8.82 a meal. So the New Virginia meal site is not economically sustainable, and I would recommend permanent closure, effective immediately, and the initiation of a planning process to help us figure out how we will continue to serve this community with a nutritious hot noon meal. Some of those things that we're already working on. So Aging Resources is the largest funder of this program. And so we have a conference called Thursday between Aging Resources, myself, and Mike Burling, who's the Depot restaurant owner in New Virginia, to see how we could possibly involve Mike in his business to serve the area. We also have talked about, we have a position open for a float site coordinator who would be filling in at different sites. That person also may be able to continue home delivery of all of those people who, the 12 or 13 who were participating before. However, eventually we would expect those who are not homebound and who are out shopping and visiting in the public, that they would be able to drive to the Martinsdale meal site to get their meal and have a little social interaction. That's just what I propose. I am open to suggestions from anybody who has other ideas on how we can economically serve these people in New Virginia, the seniors, with a meal without going broke.
So we're gonna do that,
Do what?
serve the people in.
We are trying to find
Somehow or
a plan,
another.
yes. Now we'll definitely serve the home delivery. I mean, we'll still find a way to deliver to them. Those people who are mobile,
it may be in the end that they do need to drive to Martinsdale.
Or we
Meal
could
site.
serve them at home, couldn't we?
Well, that's not the, I would be willing to do that for an amount of time, but if you are, it doesn't make sense that we would spend the extra dollars to serve you at home and then see you at Walmart an hour later and Burger King 2 hours after that. And so there's some criteria. If we're gonna spend that to deliver your meal, it needs to be because you're not able to get out. But I would be willing to do that for a while, and right now, the way it looks, we'll be doing that for quite some time yet. Delivery for everybody.
Jodine.
Yeah.
Was Mike Burling open to having the meals delivered to his restaurant and then having the congregate meals there?
He's not sure. He's reading a lot of the guidance that I sent him, and this is because I'm inexperienced, Crystal. He thinks he has to have 2 separate kitchens to be able to do that. I do not believe that's correct. So Thursday, when we have that call, Carol from Aging Resources will explain the guidelines. He follows the same regulations that the congregate kitchens do, so I'm not sure. So he's open to it, but he says he's, certainly not gonna go broke trying to do this.
Absolutely. I hope it can be worked out to where it's beneficial to him and our seniors in that area.
So if he can do it, I also, there's that restaurant, and then the hen house in New Virginia it may be feasible that we can pay someone to bring the meals to that site, and then use the volunteers to take them from that one site and deliver them to the clients who are at home. So just exploring all kinds of options, but we're starting with Mike to see what he can do.
Okay. Well, at least you have a plan there. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like a motion.
Would like a motion to close the site.
Yes.
I would move that.
I'll second it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? I'll add that for discussion, it would be my strong preference to continue delivering sites, especially in the current climate that we're in now. We're doing the home deliveries at all of our meal sites, and so nothing's really changing in that regard. That should also provide the county adequate time to either work out maybe a drop-off site with Mike or somewhere else before we hit sort of the final option, which is, if you're truly homebound, we'll deliver a meal. And if you're not, then the Martinsdale site looks like it's the appropriate nearest location, and I understand that. It's not a decision that I think the board's come to lightly. It's not a decision that you have come to lightly, but at the end of the day, it's still almost double the cost for our other meal sites, and that's sort of a function of the numbers that we're doing, as well as some of the distance. And so it's not an easy decision to make, but we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none. Tracy?
McIntyre,
Nay.
Show,
Aye.
DeCook,
Aye. All right, carries 2-1. Number 12, receive and file reports. We have reports from the recorder, B, general assistance, C, humane society, D, veterans affairs. Thank you, Jodine.
Yes.
I move we receive and file those 4 reports.
Second.
Tracy?
McIntyre,
Aye.
Show,
Aye.
DeCook,
Aye. Number 13, supervisors report. Supervisor Scholl.
Yes, since the last meeting, I attended an Iowa Student Aid meeting, Warren County Economic Development, Indianola Chamber, City of Indianola, and Indianola Municipal Utility meeting.
Thank you. Supervisor McIntyre?
Thank you. I haven't given a board report since probably, I think it was the February 18th, 2020 meeting. I was in Texas for a month, the month of March, and I was on a 14-day quarantine after I came home. And I have been self-quarantined because I may have had the virus while in Texas. I did find a typed note on my chair saying that I had to wear a mask around other employees. So that's why I am not attending the in-person meeting tonight, although I am in the building. Since my last in-person meeting, I've attended aging resources meetings in person in February, and communication through phone and through emails. Fifth Judicial Board meeting by phone in April. Attended all the Board of Supervisors regular and special meetings by Zoom. Answered phone calls and emails to questions and concerns by citizens. Attended the EMA for Warren County by Zoom for updates in Warren County about the virus. Mid-Iowa Development Fund conference call, Warren County Security Committee, where opening up our temporary courthouse was discussed, as well as what to do about jury trials, still pending. I'd like the board to consider the extra costs that are going to be associated with renting or moving venues for jury trials. And as a final note here, I feel there's a lot of unfounded fears surrounding this virus. However, I don't want anyone uncomfortable around me, so I don't mind sheltering in place for longer.
Okay, thank you. My list. Norwalk City Council Zoom meeting, HERDA. I'll give you an update on HERDA for those that are following. We received some substantial federal funds, and HERDA is doing much, much better fiscally than we were a few months ago. That probably doesn't come as a surprise that people are not, ridership's way down, but I think they're on a good track at this point. Met with Shive and DCI, met with our HR on a couple of issues. Joined a health update with Jodine on Zoom, regular meetings, special meetings. Also stopped out to the plaza on 2 occasions to get an update on some of the work that's being done out there. And there has been some concerns about a street sweeper. And so followed up with our engineers department, and it looks like as soon as the projects are done, a street sweeper is coming out there, which I think will make some people happy. Look forward to seeing Mr. Bates at an upcoming June meeting. And lastly, I'll say a quick update on 2 large projects in the county. Courthouse walls are going up, and so if you get a chance to drive around and peek through the fence, or there's some holes in the fence you can where they enter and exit, you can see actual building walls going up. That is a good thing in my estimation. It shows progress. And then also for the Norwalk residents and those south of Norwalk, 80th Avenue starts construction on May 26th, so next Tuesday. That road is going to be closed down for probably an extended period of time, maybe 10 to 12 weeks. But that project is starting on Tuesday. And so you'll have to find alternate routes. That won't be a through road anymore, but I look forward to the completion of both of those projects. All right, number 14, public input. Is there anyone from the public who would like to share? Seeing none. Number 15, set next meeting date for June 2nd, 2020 at 9:30 in the morning. First Tuesday of June, 9:30 in the morning, June 2. And with that,
I would move we adjourn.
What's that?
That one will be on Zoom as well.
Oh, and just for the public's benefit, that one is going to be on a Zoom meeting because we have a primary election that is going to be in this office, and so that's not our preference, to Zoom that one, and then it's sort of my anticipation that the second Tuesday of June, we'll have a shot for a, public meeting, fingers crossed, and depending on what numbers look like,
Yeah.
so.
I move we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn,
Second.
and a second. Tracy?
McIntyre,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye, we're adjourned, thank you for your time all.
Yeah, whatever. See you.